What's up, people? Gerald here. Wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about my thoughts as I was watching the NCAA tournament and just some things that are going through my head as I'm getting ready to launch the Gerald online technology school for black boys. But it's crazy how when I look at the amount of young black men that are playing intercollegiate sports, especially at the Division I level, and let's take a look at, say, Division I basketball per se. There's approximately 347 men's Division I basketball teams. And I would go out on the limb to say, I don't have a precise number on this, but I would go out on the limb to say 65 to 70% of those guys are young black men. And then I thought to myself, what if a high percentage of those men, our biggest, strongest, intelligent alpha males, came back to our communities with tech degrees, ready to make change, ready to start businesses, ready to make their mark on the world, and that way, with sport behind them, knowing that less than 1% of everyone who plays Division I sports will ever play sport or ever make a dime in athletics. But at the same time, what if they came back our biggest, strongest, brightest? And I say brightest because a lot of people think as athletes as dumb jocks, but I was a good athlete in high school. I didn't go on to play college ball, but I was a good athlete in high school, and I could have gone on to play college ball, but I had other circumstances and I had other things that I just like to do. But in an athlete, someone who practices at a level where they become the best. So at the Division I level, wherever you from, you were the best. You were the best in your area. But what happens in the mind of an athlete who becomes an elite, there's a high level of calculus and vector analysis and all types of things that are going on in their mind in real time that enables them to be the best, that enables them to adjust and outside of their physical gifts, just what's going on in their mind and the ability to focus on that particular sport that they're good at. But if you could get to that young man young enough and get him to understand that, yo, you're a unique individual. Not only do you have these physical gifts, but if you can focus on this thing as well and introduce them to a technical discipline, like I was introduced to technical disciplines very young, not knowing that I was, but my father, my uncles, and the men around me, they were builders. Like they were good with their hands. They designed, they drew stuff on paper, they hung drywall, and I was exposed to all this different stuff, which I didn't know was shaping me to be an engineer. But as I was playing sports and as I was putting hours and hours and hours in on being a better basketball player, being a better football player, I also read. And that was just something I had interest and I read. But I'm no different than any of these brothers out there. They can be intelligent. They can be super freak athletes and do it all at the same time. So what I've decided is there is a new model. There is a way to take these young men who are super gifted athletes and also give them the ability to be tech guys or be super smart or be super intelligent on top of their athletic prowess and physical gifted abilities. So this is why I'm actually launching the Gerald Technology Online School, because if I can reach enough young men early enough and show that, hey, you can still play basketball, you can still play football, but here's this other thing, because those things come to an end. And being smart and being intelligent doesn't mean that you're less cool. You can still be athletic. You can still do all those things and also, expand your mind and have a technology behind you, have a skill behind you as you grow up. So I'm going to take young men, young boys, ages 8 to 16 and say, yo, it's cool to play a sport, but it's also cool to be a web developer. It's also cool to have developed your own website. It's also cool to get into cybersecurity. It's also cool to know something about cryptocurrency at the same time, because these are our best and brightest. I don't care what you say. You can call athletes dumb, you can call them whatever. But if they're focused in the right way, and we get some that come through the Richard Shermans of the world who can still talk trash, who can still get it in on the field, but at the same time, he's a Stanford graduate. At the same time, he's interested in tech. At the same time, you can do both. You can do both. I've done it. I've mastered many disciplines, as far as sports. I'm still good at sports. But if we get our young boys young and let them know and teach them young, and not only teach them, but you can be an engineer at 8, right? So that's my goal. My goal is to say, no, you won't be an engineer in the future. You're going to be an engineer today. We're going to build stuff. We're going to build tangible stuff. We're going to design tangible stuff that you can share and showcase with your friends and make it competitive. Yo, my app is better than yours, son. Yeah, son, I developed this website, son. What you got? Like, we can still have our thing. We don't have to have someone else's thing and make it cool. We can still have our thing and be very technically sound and intelligent, very young, and still do our sports thing. We can still, because we got to figure out a way to get our biggest, best, and brightest alpha males to come back to our communities whole, and not just baby daddies, or not just I ain't make the league, so now I'm living with mama. Like, we gotta figure out a way to get this next crop, this next generation of high level athletes, of young black boys, to get them in a technical framework to know that they can do it all, because they can. Like, the mind is incredible. The mind is the ultimate computer. The mind is the ultimate computer, and focused in the right way and nurtured in the right way, we can develop some super beings. Like, that's my goal. I'm going to develop some young super beings who come back to us and still play ball and still be and do all those things that we deem as cool in the hood. But we're going to come back with some engineers and some computer scientists and some architects and some designers and some developers, and leave from the consumer side and be on the producer, developer side. Gerald Moore, just talking trash, what I do. But if you got a young man between the ages of 8 and 16, find a link below down there somewhere. Send me your email so you can get all the information on the Gerald Moore Online Technology School for Black Boys. I'm going to get it launched in April. Sign up, and it's going to be cool. We're going to develop some stuff in real time, and it's going to be cool for your young son to be like, look, I'm an engineer today because Gerald said so. Yo, I'm a computer scientist today because Gerald said so. And then next week, he going to be an app developer or a game developer, and we're going to change hats week to week as we develop stuff and do it now in real time. We don't have to wait. It's not about when you grow up. It's about today.